Hey there, everybody. This is Heather Gray with Discovering Health. Welcome to Talking Shit with Heather. What do I mean by talking shit with Heather? So it's a twofold way of, because I am a practitioner and I will be speaking with other practitioners on here. At some point, we will be talking about literal shit and parasites and bacteria and gut health and all that fun stuff. And then the other talking shit part is the story, right? The stuff that got us where we are today as healers. I have found in my own personal experience that there's usually some sort of a shit story that got us here to begin with. And that's really when I want to get to the bottom of with my guests, is because I want to bring this stuff to the light, right? It's the only way a lot of this stuff can get healed and transformed and moved is when we bring the light to it. So it's tongue in cheek, two part, but definitely talking shit. Want to hear people's shit story. So I am a functional wellness practitioner, and I work with mostly on the go women who have autoimmune issues, chronic pain, and brain fog. And I help them to overcome a lot of those hidden stressors where they can get all day energy out of pain and not be at the effect of their emotions anymore. I do that through functional lab work. And then we have a Dress for Success program, which is diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and supplementation to get people's health back on track naturally. And what I've also found in my own story of 27 years undiagnosed Lyme disease, celiac, Hashimoto's, endometriosis, that it has taken a village, right? It's not one modality that's got all the answers, because if that was the case, you guys would be cajillionaires, right? It's been my experience that it takes a village. And that's part of what I'm doing with these interviews is I've just met so many amazing practitioners that are doing some really cool stuff out there. And I don't specialize in everything. I thought I wanted to specialize more in like the trauma work type stuff, because I've learned that you really need to address the trauma in your nervous system in order to get a complete full balance of healing. And I just don't think I want to. I kind of want to stay in my lane. I love functional work. I love lab work. I love what I do. And I want to leave it to these other brilliant, amazing folks that I'm talking to kind of, pick up those other pieces that are absolutely needed for healing. Wouldn't you agree, Miss Dawn Livingstone? And my guest today, we're going to be talking about the power of the subconscious mind. What does that mean, Dawn?
The power of the subconscious mind. Wow. Well, I work with people to help them understand the power of the subconscious mind. People don't understand that the mind and the body are connected, right? And I try and explain to them that over time, every issue that they have all manifests physically. So the physical manifestation of any imbalances is actually like a big knock on the door saying, help, there's something not quite right.
Knock on the door. Mine was like a cosmic 2x4 to the back of the head. Pay attention.
That's it. Absolutely. Stand up, pay attention. Here's a headache, or here's some migraine, or here's some Crohn's disease. And people don't understand that they create these illnesses via the mind as well. Some of it is environmental. Yes, absolutely, I give you that. But a good portion of it is also from the subconscious mind. And we don't aware of this. We're not aware this is all happening. We're really not. So my job, I wouldn't say my job, but what my passion is to actually speak to people and help educate them and help them to understand that if they have got good things going on up here, then their physical body is going to be so much better. So basically that's what I do. And let me just touch on something you said a minute ago about trauma being really hard. Trauma is really horrible on the body. It has a really, really detrimental effect. So I help people get to the root cause of the trauma and remove the trauma. So it's all dissolving from their cells, because we hold on to it so tight and we carry it forward. And unless we know how to get rid of it, it's just we're going to keep carrying it forward as long as we're walking this earth, basically. So yeah, I help people to find their inner demons because I work on vibration. I work with vibration on people, their belief systems, their subconscious programming. And I try and explain to them that your subconscious mind actually creates your reality 95 to 99% of the day. And some people say, no, I'm awake. I'm conscious, but it's actually looping programs and software that's that type of thing that's in your mind, and it's your subconscious mind that's actually driving your reality. We only drive our life consciously between 1% and 5% of the time, and that's things like making a decision about what you're having for dinner, whether you're going to go left or right at the lights, this type of thing, whether you want chicken or you want steak for dinner, this sort of thing. But the rest of it is actually loops that have been consistently put into your subconscious mind that are driving your reality. It's all subconscious programming. So
That's
people,
crazy.
yeah, they get quite a, oh, this is new, which is really great because that's exactly how I reacted when I first learned this. It's like, shut the front door. No way in hell.
You're like, I'm screwed. But no, so
Yes.
yeah, let's get into your shit story. What
Aye.
brought you to this work? What's the story that kind of opened it up for you of crap, I can't keep going the old way. I can't stay in the old paradigm.
Well, it was many years ago, and it was when I was in Scotland, and I must have been,
I know
I
I
don't
could
know,
listen to you talk all
you're
day.
going to talk, I've
In
never heard
Scotland.
that
I
before,
love
never heard that before.
it.
I think I was about 27, 28, I think, roughly around then. It wasn't quite 30. And I had been doing some evening classes at night, like waxing and eyebrow tint, and just something to get out the house. Like went with my sister and my mother, and it was a bit of our time together. And our classes came to an end, and it was like, oh, I've got nothing else left to do. What else could I do? And it was actually my boss at work had said, oh, she says my neighbour does Reiki. She's doing a first degree class this weekend. And I thought, oh, okay, well, I'm down. I'll do it. And no idea what it was. Didn't have a clue what on earth, but they do say you don't find Reiki finds you, right?
Okay.
So I would have to say I can attest to that. So I went along to this class. I had my first year two attunements on the Saturday, and I was driving home like mesmerized because I could actually see leaves on the trees. I could actually see some color. I could see everything in a lot more detail. And it was as if the blinkers or the blinders that I'd had on all my life that were here were removed, and I could now see the whole picture. It was just absolutely incredible. So, anyhow, what actually led me to look back on my life and see the patterns that I had been creating. I was in a pretty shitty marriage, actually, let's just say that. I didn't know what was wrong. I just knew I was really unhappy. I couldn't do anything right, Heather, not a thing. I couldn't do anything right. I couldn't say anything right, when everything was my fault type
Oh,
thing.
fun.
And I thought I was being strong and, not reacting to it. Oh, it doesn't affect me, this type of thing. I mean, what a load of tosh, honestly, because I had been drinking all this horrible vibration and storing it just for a rainy day. And I used to take my two youngest children to a karate class, and we would go along quite. I actually ended up getting thrown very badly one day. I landed bang on my right hip, and I broke the lowest disc in my back. So of course it was all squishing out, and it was causing a lot of sciatica and really, really horrible pain. And I was flat out for 3 months. I could hardly move. The only time I was free of pain was when I was lying horizontal. If I walked for any more than 5 minutes, the pressure would cause the sciatic pain to really get worse. And if I was sitting down, I couldn't sit down for any more than a couple of minutes. So life was kind of hell. And I was retracting into this victim mode, and my husband was making me feel bad because I wasn't out working, this type of thing. I wasn't able to lift the kids. And I think I went back to work after 4 months, and I thought I have to see the counsellor. There's a counsellor. So it's like if you're off long term, which that was considered, I had to go and see a counsellor just to make sure I was fit for work. So she's like that, okay, tell me what's been going on. Lovely woman, lovely woman. And I just vomited on this woman, this poor woman, about everything that had been going on in my life, how he made me feel, what he said, how he acted. And she'll just let me rant and rant for about 20, 30 minutes. And then she said, okay, this is when I came up for air, you know. She says, okay, how long have you been abused? And I said, oh no, I'm really sorry. I think you've picked up the wrong end of the stick here. He's never lifted a hand to me, and I really did believe that he wouldn't lift a hand to me. Oh no, she says, don't just think that abuse is physical. She says, you have been, from what you've been telling me, you have been verbally, mentally, psychologically abused. And it was like this penny drop, you know, that the light bulb just goes boom, you know, and you have this epiphany and everything just falls into place. The only reason that I was getting abused was because I was allowing him to do it. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's always anybody, there's always your part in it. You know,
Yes.
it's never 100% on the opposite side. Like,
Yeah, and
as
everything that
hard as
happens,
that is to hear.
yes, yeah, it's very hard, it's horrible, but everything is a choice. Your life is a choice. So I was faced with the biggest choice in my life at that time. It was, okay, put up with it and just continue to be absolutely miserable, or you put an end to it right now. So which one do you think I chose?
Yay.
I'm like that. Nope, no more.
You took the blue pill.
I took the red pill.
Right, the red
took
pill.
the red pill.
Right, blue pill back.
I threw the blue pill at him and took the red pill. That was what I did. And I left the marriage, told him that that's it. I wanted out. And I had been actually, and this will correlate what I had said earlier about everything manifesting itself physically. I was having real horrible fungal infections. Let's just put it that way. I mean, it would reoccur every 3 or 4 weeks. I just would not get rid of it. See, the day I told my husband that we were done, never had it back.
What?
Never had it back.
That's
not
awesome.
once. So, and it was like a real weight had been lifted. So what I'm trying to do is to use my experience and what I have. I suppose it was a breakthrough for me. It was a real breakthrough for me because I was aware of the situation and what was happening. So I'm trying to help people through my experience understand that they may be in some type of abusive relationship without even realizing it. Some of them will be in an abusive relationship. I know they're in an abusive relationship but are too scared to do anything with it. But that's just part of it, because everything is vibration. My father was very, very much do as I say and not as I do. He wouldn't really set an example for me. He would just tell me off or tell me what to do. And whatever choices I made, they were never the right ones. You know, and I realize now that I was growing up with that.
Right.
You're doing everything wrong. You're unworthy. You're not worthy of this. You don't deserve that type thing. And I just didn't realize how much I was retreating into myself. So it's not a surprise that, you know, going up through my childhood, I was totally defiant. Somebody would say,
oh yeah, watch this.
Somebody would say, go down that way, and I'd go this way. But that's how things like that, you know, imbalances manifest themselves within you. So over the last few years, I have really been working hard on this. I used to work on the energy, because I'm a Reiki master teacher now. I went through all levels.
Oh, wow.
So I actually teach the classes too. So I use energy for balance, but I also use energy to work with the vibrations in the subconscious mind and in the body. And over the last few years, it's become pretty intuitive. So the organs will tell me what they're holding on to, and sometimes it just clear this, clear forgiveness, run some energy to clear self punishment, because somebody's always punishing themselves, which creates a big loop in itself. So what we need to do is break that loop, and if we break that loop and stop it from continuing on, this is the subconscious programming. if we stop that loop from continuing, then there's nothing else that can happen but better things for that person, because they don't have this loop continuing on. So you attract what you vibrate, and that's really my message, to people. And if you don't like what you're attracting, then it's only up to you to fix it, because what we can't do is wait for somebody to come riding on in this big shiny horse and sweep us away and make everything better, because that sure as hell ain't happening. And I found out the hard way. It's like, oh shit. I said that a lot when I was younger. Oh shit, what am I going to do? How can I make this right? And I also found that I couldn't really go to, my friends or my family, because they're too close. They're too close to you. And actually, that one time I went to see that counsellor, who I'd never known from Adam, but she just opened up so many more, so much more awareness to me. And I think I'm really grateful to her for that, because that changed my life. That really gave me the confidence and the strength I found from somewhere. I've no idea where, because I was terrified, for my life in that relationship. I was so scared. And now I understand why I was so scared.
Right.
And it's no more. So that's my shit story in a nutshell.
It's so bizarre. Thank you. How I mean, I don't know about you, but growing up on Disney movies, especially, right, in the princess movies, and always waiting for that somebody to save me. Not
Yes.
necessarily even the knight in shining armor. I was just always waiting for somebody to save me, because being abused as a child, right, and thinking that really, if anybody's going to show up, then, right, somebody should be showing up to save the child.
Yes.
But that never happened. And so it seemed like I was always waiting for someone to come and save me. And it wasn't until I took charge and started saving myself
Absolutely.
Things started really turning around for me, and kind of working on that victim mentality that I did have. I hate to say it, but
yeah, I know, I hate to say it as well, but absolutely. And I remember when I was lying on the couch one day, and it had not been too long actually after I had taken my I think it was my Reiki second degree, and I had sent an email to my Reiki teacher and said to her, because I really was in a dark place. I was in a horrible place at that time. I was really, really low. I don't think I've ever been that low. And I sent her a line that said, you said that Reiki would change my life for the better, and look at me. What's happening? I can't work. I can't pick my kids up. I can't go for a walk. What's happening to me? And within like 60 seconds, she just sent me a reply back that said, instead of focusing on what you're not able to do, think about how not being able to work, or what not being able to work allows you to do. And that was when I started to think about myself. Just all of a sudden, all these thoughts came flooding in. I just wasn't taking care of myself, and because I was putting everybody's needs first. Because we had 3 children, we had two of them quite young, 2 of them were under 5. And they need a lot of looking after, yes, absolutely they do. But I was doing everything for everybody else, and I was never doing a thing for myself.
Right.
I was never even taking the time out. I could, never thought of going for a facial. I couldn't even go and get my nails done. Never even thought about it at all. It seemed that my purpose at that time was for everybody else, because that was the way my father made me feel when I was growing up. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
what kind of people do you like working with? What's your sweet spot? What gets you really lit up? I know a lot of us can absolutely heal all sorts of people, but typically we kind of have a niche that we like working with.
Yes. For some reason, and I think it's probably because that's how I grew up, that was the vibration that I grew up with, was abuse. But I attract probably a good 75 to 80% of my clients have either been abused or sexually abused as a child. So that's a really horrible start to any life, really, because you can't get rid of that until you actually work with the vibrational levels of it, and people don't understand that. So I like to work with people that are, so say first responders, for example, those that are in harm's way, those that go out to fearful situations, so fires and incidents,
Adrenaline junkies.
absolutely. People that work in healthcare, the nurses and the doctors, the doctors and the nurses. It's not my teeth I've got in today. I'm really sorry about that. But the nurses and the doctors, ER, trauma, trauma room, this type of thing, first responders, they do not realize that they take on the emotions and the negative vibrations of that fear of everybody else that's around them. They don't know to clear themselves regularly so that they don't get affected by it. So I would like to work with more of those type of people.
Oh, right.
To actually help them and allow them to do their job, more efficiently. And because I know that some of them, they get to a certain, number of years in their career and they're totally burnt out.
Right.
They're totally burnt out because
Right.
they're not looking after their own vibrations in their own body. So that's really what I'd like to do. But I basically help, if anybody has something that they don't like, the way their life's going, I can help them with just about anything.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
trauma and addictions, that's my main bag, because I was addicted to alcohol for quite a while. Not that I've ever admitted it. You're the first person I've admitted it.
Shut
But
up.
that
Talking shit with Heather.
talking shit. So that was my go-to during my marriage. I didn't even realize it. I could drink 2 bottles of wine in a night and not even think twice about it.
Oh, wow.
And then get up in the morning and drive to work. not even thinking about anything at all. So now I don't touch a drop. I think I've drunk enough for the whole of Scotland, so I'll just leave it. I'll leave it over there, and I don't touch it at all. It just doesn't, because I've been working on myself and I've removed the root cause of my need to escape.
Right.
Yeah, so I've removed the trauma, therefore I don't have a need to go and drink. So
Do you have any cool little, like a little sneak peek, a tip or trick, something that you can kind of show our audience today on, how to either like ground yourself or if you're finding you're feeling this kind of a loop? Is there something that you can just kind of give us a little sneak peek on how it is you work? Or
yeah, usually what I do is I take people on a little bit of a guided meditation. It just takes a few seconds. So it helps you to be aware of your body and the energy coming through your body, out through your feet, through the soles of your feet. And we ground you down into the center of the earth. So down all the layers of the earth. And I usually ask for you to, locate your favorite crystal, or it could be a boulder or a rock or a stone or something, but whatever is right for you, you'll find. And then I just ask you to wrap your roots around the crystal. And that's really for me to help you to get to a place where I can hold space for you, so that I can hold your vibration to a higher level and run the energies. So that's usually a very calming place for people to be. And I've not met anybody yet who's said they've never been calm all the way through it. I usually make them cry. And I keep saying that's not really my finest superpower, but that is
I think
really,
it's an amazing superpower.
that's my goal, is to
I
get them to get rid of this emotion.
I didn't feel for like 2 or 3 decades. It wasn't until after my divorce, and I was in a passionate intimacy course. And I swear to God, I told my teacher one day, I'm like, when is this going to stop? Like, I felt like we've somehow opened up the floodgates, and I've been crying for like a year and a half straight now. Like, tell me this is going to stop. And she's like, well, how long has it been? Did you used to feel? And I'm like, no, the only thing I was ever allowed to feel was anger. So,
Yeah.
and I still see that now. It's such a blessing to where now when I start to get angry and reactive, I'm like, okay, what sadness is I'm not feeling? Because that's usually what anger is a cover up for,
Yeah.
is, that squishy underbelly of sadness,
Yes. And you are still releasing. I can see it in your aura. It goes to like I almoys put them like grey clouds that are like splatted around your aura. And I know that is kind of, when it's starting to leave the body, it accumulates in your aura. This is just how I see it. Accumulates in your aura, and it's usually like a cloud or a dark cloud. And then it starts just to kind of give off wisps when you're ready to actually let it go permanently. Because we hold on to things for so long.
Absolutely.
If we got rid of it, and this is part of the thing that I run, the intention is for you to release that at a pace that's right for you. So if we release this really, really fast, your body would just shut down. Oh my God, what the hell's happening to me? It couldn't cope, basically. Right. It couldn't cope. So it's got to be done on a certain level and a certain, a certain speed. But yeah, I can see you are still clearing. So you've just got to relax into it. I'm being told just relax into it. And just when you feel like that, you got rest. You've got to take at least a couple of hours rest. Just go to sit down, close your eyes, meditate if you can meditate, and just allow it to go.
Yeah, I ever since actually I started this podcast up and back into my business again, I just got to reading a book called The Big Leap, and it was all talking about upper boundary issues, right? And I'm coming head to head with mine. Like they're screaming so loud at me right now because I feel like I'm on this edge of breaking through all of these old patterns, but they are not wanting to let go. I literally wake up in the morning and I wake up with this feeling of dread of like I've done something wrong, I've screwed something up, and I somehow should be punished. And that's how I wake up. And I spend the majority of my day, I take some 5-HTP, I do some amino acid therapy, and that actually helps with those spinning thoughts quite a bit. But yeah, I'm quite shocked at the level and how loudly they've been, as I'm stepping into me, as I'm stepping into my passion, right? That it's my mother, it's my father, everything.
We carry it with us.
Yeah.
And you find that we all set ourselves our own limitations. Yeah, we don't allow ourselves to have this, this open ceiling where we can just grow. We cap ourselves off based on our experiences from childhood that we can remember, but we also carry things on from our ancestors as well. It's not just us, because we're all biologically connected and energetically connected, then we take all that on as well. So yeah, I find that we set ourselves our limitations, and it's ourselves that need to get out the dang way. Get out your own way, let yourself just go. But we don't know this, so it's been a challenge to try and get the information out there to people for them to say, what? Sometimes they look at me like I've got horns growing out of my head, but that's okay. And I used to be really, well, not so much offended by it, but I used to worry about it. I used to think, oh no, I can't see it this way, because then people get upset with me, or I was, living in fear about what other people would think about me. And saying, now it's like, stuff that, that's not happening anymore. I'm just going to go out there and say my stuff. And if people don't like it, then I'm not the right gal for them.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Hey, and so what kind of a special do you have right now for our listeners? Do you have any kind of giveaway or special gift because they've heard you on the podcast?
I'm going to do a free session on Saturday. Oh goodness, what date is this? Yes, it is. It's this Saturday coming at 9 o'clock Mountain Time. And it's more for
go out in time for that.
What was that? I won't go out in time. Oh well.
Yeah.
That's fine. I will be having
like free consults or
I do a 20-minute free consultation. They can find that on my website, just on the shop under 20-minute free consultation. And they can book that, no problem. I also have it's going to be recorded. It's going to be on an education platform called Thinkific. And this is all, I've still not decided on the title, but it's basically going within, teaching you to go within and actually address your inner demons relating to yourself. So it's going to address issues like self-confidence, self-punishment, self-respect, self-worth, this type of thing, and clearing lots of belief systems and subconscious programming that are keeping you locked within yourself and not allowing yourself to be free.
Making friends with your inner demons.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's actually throwing your inner demons out. That would probably work better. Not making friends with it, just throwing it out.
Oh, okay. You're out of here.
Yeah, you're done. You're done.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, if they look, if they can connect with me on Instagram or on Facebook, then the details will be up there. So
Yeah, and
there'll
I
be a
will load up all your links under the video when this is up and live. So
super.
they will have that. But any one last thing, burning thought that you absolutely need to share, or how are you feeling? It feels like it's kind of come to a nice natural conclusion here.
It has, really just to say that, you know, life is a choice. I mean, whatever way you choose to live your life is your choice. And if you're not happy with it, then the only person that's going to be able to change that is yourself. And sometimes it's really hard for you to look within yourself and see what's not right. So I would be more than happy to speak with anybody and give them a little bit of insight as to how they can help themselves and how they can change it. But apart from that, yeah, life is a choice.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, I plan on being there on Saturday. Like I said, I don't
Super.
think this will be out in time. I won't have my poop in a row to get that out in time. Um, but that's cool that they can get a hold of you and do a free consult, and I'm super excited to be there. So yay.
Good. It'll be nice to see you.
Awesome sauce. Well, thank you so much, Miss Dawn. I really appreciate having you on today and you taking the time.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime, Miss
Yeah.
Heather with the Scottish name.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm Mexican Irish.
Oh, what?
I'm a
With a
lep
name like Heather, come
I'm
on.
a leprechauno. Top of the morning to you, essay.
I love it.
Awesome sauce. All right, well, we're going to sign off today. Until next time, stay tuned.
Thank you.